influence of geopolitical factors, many international companies are seeking for more potential places to invest. Quebec, Canada might be your best choice. Today, we're very honored to have Daniel Silverman, Vice President, Foreign Direct Investment, Invest Quebec. Hello, Daniel.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Okay, so we're talking about Quebec, and many people heard about the place before, but actually we don't know much about it. So people are wondering, so could you please give us a brief introduction to Invest Quebec, and then what's your mission, primary mission to the audience?
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. Invest Quebec is the primary economic development corporation for the province of Quebec. We carry many different mandates. So primarily to increase the economic competitive of the province, create jobs, create economic wealth, but we also have a financial part of it as well. So we're about 14 different divisions within one organization. We report into the Ministry of Economy, Innovation, and Energy, and my mandate is to help Taiwanese businesses expand their operations into Quebec. And by doing that, we provide an array of services. And when I mentioned the financial side of it, we have our own about $15 billion private equity portfolio, so we can invest in equity in businesses. We have a financing part of our business where we will do loans, we'll manage tax credits, we'll help them with loans that might have forgiveness or not, something like a grant. And our mandate is to really introduce a company that doesn't know much about Quebec into the ecosystem. And once they get there, help them thrive and grow, making sure they have the right contacts, hire the right people, understand the different government programs that are available to them to help them thrive and really access the potential that is the North American market, which is billions of consumers and hundreds of millions of companies. So we're kind of that sweet spot for a soft landing zone for businesses that want to tackle the North American market.
So what makes you the major player, especially in North America? I mean, because you're in Canada, so people are wondering, like, we do have the semiconductor zone in California, Silicon Valley, etc., or Phoenix. So what makes you the sweet spot for those investors?
Absolutely. We'll never be a Silicon Valley or a Phoenix or an Ohio that has a $20 billion Intel project, but we have a network of 8,000 people working in the semiconductor industry in Quebec, just outside of Montreal, called Bromont. It's supported by post-secondary institutions as well as C2MI, which is really a key player in the supply chain. The next and one of the largest growing corridors is also the New York Northeast corridor. So from Quebec all the way down almost to New York City. And these 8,000 people are working at supporting these companies in Silicon Valley. They're supporting these companies in Phoenix, in Ohio, and in New York. And they're adding really that supply chain perspective to it. So we're not manufacturing the chips in Montreal, but we're doing the wafers and we're doing the R&D and we're doing the technology. So with the innovation hub and innovation zone called Technum Quebec, their mandate is to help grow that ecosystem, and their neighbors just across the hall is this organization called C2MI, which is really the central piece of the North American supply chain for the US. We have the University of Sherbrooke, which studies in quantum computing. So we've made this hotbed of talent, innovation, and R&D that is supporting the growth in North America. So we like to say we're part of the bigger player. We're not maybe necessarily the biggest player, but we're supporting the growth in the North American market and hopefully down the road the rest of the world.
Let us move on to industries, because you mentioned semiconductors and also like microelectronics, which is people know about Quebec these days. So what's the benefit for those companies they want to invest in Quebec?
So it's a relatively mature market that we have in Quebec. Like I mentioned earlier, 8,000 people working directly and indirectly supporting this northeastern corridor in the United States. So there's a talent play already there with the post-secondary education, the universities and colleges building programs to develop R&D and advancement in innovation in both microelectronics and semiconductor. We have experts in the industry that are living in this area called Bromont, like I said, about an hour and a half outside of Montreal. The Innovation Zone was created about a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago. What it's done is it's helped take all these partners and put them together. You have IBM, which has been there for many years and recently did a large multi-$100 million expansion. You have Teledyne, you have ABB, you have these well-established international brands that are coming here because we're creating this opportunity for them to collaborate together. The semiconductor and microelectronics industry can't just be done by one organization. It takes everybody putting in a little bit at a time. And we feel that what we've created here is an opportunity for them to network, to do research and development projects, and to innovate together. And we've been able to adapt our strategy in attracting these companies to say, we might not have a Intel building the microchips there, but how can we support Intel's investment in Ohio? How can we support Samsung's investment in Phoenix? And how can we support TSMC and all the other big players that are in the United States by the technology and the wherewithal that we have in the education and the post-secondary graduates in Quebec that are helping the North American market become not the biggest player, because I think I'm sitting in that city right now and in that country in Taiwan, but supporting the players that are looking at expanding to North America.
I think the one key to supporting the players that we do have a lot of talents. And according to the statistic, we know that there is a shortage of talents in the future, or the coming future. So what do you see the Quebec, the advantage of it? And also we do have something different from others.
Yeah, so the creation of the Technum Innovation Zone and the District Q, which is the Quantum Computing Innovation Zone, just a little further down the road in Sherbrooke, has created this opportunity for companies and people to come in and work and live and play together in this industry sector. The other thing is Canada and Quebec specifically is one of the largest aerospace clusters in the world, top 3. So you have a talent base that is not just microelectronics or semiconductors, but users of these microelectronics and semiconductors. We have our electric vehicle manufacturing and our battery strategy that we have in place. We have 99.9% green renewable energy, which companies all over the world right now are looking for. And the opportunity that brings together is having a company come in and be part of this ecosystem, having the talent that's there be developed. We're an extremely multicultural province. You see it when you land in Montreal, you see it when you go into the regions, you see it with the types of companies that are landing there. You know, I was at the airport the other day, flying here, yesterday in fact. I just see the names on the logos of people's shirts of companies that we've helped recruit into Quebec that are then on the same flight as me to Montreal to Toronto, and then on Eva Air direct here into Taipei. So you see that people are coming here because they see the opportunity to grow, and companies are coming to take advantage of the talent that's there. Quite frankly, a much reduced cost than the Bay Area or other parts of the United States.
Okay, when it comes to the transportation that you just mentioned, what makes you convenient for those investors?
Montreal is a major international hub, flights coming directly in from Europe, coming in from Asia. This year alone, I think we added direct flight to Korea, not here in Taiwan. I did a nice little pond hopper of about an hour to Toronto and then a direct flight in. My colleague Rachel, who's here with me this week at the SEMICON conference, she went via Vancouver. So it's a quite accessible market. When you fly Friday night, I fly direct from Taipei to Toronto. And then there's a flight every hour on the hour from Toronto to Montreal and vice versa. So it's an accessible market for companies that have locations in Europe. 3 to 5 direct flights a day coming in from Paris, 3 flights from London. And I'm just thinking about Air Canada. I haven't gotten into all the other airlines. So it's a growing hub. It's continuing to grow, and it's making Montreal and Quebec have more access to the rest of the world.
It all sounds very promising. So people would like to collaborate with the young and talented people like you, especially like Daniel. But people are wondering, like, what's your role? The role of Invest Quebec, because we want to know the support and services you can provide to those foreign investors, especially.
Yeah. So our role at Invest Quebec on the foreign direct investment side is really to hold their hand throughout the process. Tell you why Quebec, what are the opportunities, and then bring you into Quebec to have an understanding of what's the ecosystem. So who do we want you to meet with? You want to know why Quebec? Well, I'm going to put you in front of IBM and Teledyne and ABB and CMC, who's also here this week at the SEMICON conference, so that you could hear from companies that expanded here as to why to come in. Then we're going to support you through the permitting process, the immigration process, if you're bringing talent in from Taiwan or you're bringing talent in from other parts of Europe or North America. And we're going to work with you throughout that. And once you've established, we stay there with you. Make sure that you're in with the ecosystem, that you have an understanding, that you need connections to the Artificial Intelligence Institute that we have, that is also here at the conference, because the semiconductor and the microelectronics and AI, they all go together. So making sure that these companies are part of the ecosystem. Then when you look at some of the other different vice presidencies that we have to support, there's the specialized financing. Is there any loan or financial support that's available at the provincial level? We have our ties with the federal government as well that has their Strategic Innovation Fund. They have their Semiconductor Council, their semiconductor budget at the federal level under the Ministry of Innovation, Science, and Economic Development under Minister Champagne. And then we have our innovation team. So our innovation teams help companies with 150 engineers at Invest Quebec. They help you look at how are your practices going? Can we help you be more, not more relevant, but are you able to do things better? Are you able to help look at different alternatives to what you're doing now? We have a team which is responsible for the innovation zone. So how do we get you into the innovation zone? Maybe even if you're not located in the geographical area, include you in that ecosystem. We have a team that's responsible for buy locally. So how do we help your support and your supply chain come from Quebec? But also, the biggest thing is that 86% of all semiconductor and microelectronics business is exported. So you're coming to Quebec for that market. And we have a team of over 150 people on the export team in 37 offices around the globe that can help you get your product out of Quebec. You develop it, you build it, you install it, but then how do you get it into other markets and how do you identify clients? And my colleague Marie-Ève Jean has a team of 150 in 37 offices around the globe, none here in Taiwan right now, but how do we help you get into New York and Chicago and Vancouver and Toronto? So we're all a bit of a red carpet, one-stop service for everything that is investing in Quebec and also growing your business from Quebec.
One more thing for foreign investors, they always concerned about cost. So any beneficial regulations for you to help them?
Well, on the cost side, Canada is significantly cheaper than other markets. We're anywhere between 20 and 30% less than the U.S. markets, especially the major tier 1 cities, San Francisco, New York, Boston, Chicago. But there's different programs based at the federal and the provincial level, R&D tax credits that come at play automatically in this industry sector where they're stackable. So you can have an R&D tax credit from the federal level, an R&D tax credit from the provincial level. And like I said, we're the financing corporation for the province. And some people call it a bank. It's not a traditional bank. But we have loan programs and we have different programs to help you innovate and acquire machinery and bring in talent. So there's different programs that we help operate, we help you prepare for, and we work with our federal colleagues to help make the entry into the Canadian market and the Quebec market as smooth as possible, but also find the right opportunities for you to take advantage of some of these financial programs.
Okay, thanks to Daniel for letting us know more about Quebec. For more information, you can scan the QR code to contact Dan or Rachel to contact more further regulations and also details about the Quebec. Thank you for watching, and this is Victoria. Till then, goodbye.